But when it comes to Bihar, it's often said, you don't cast your vote, you vote for your caste. And that is the first of the X factors that I'm going to look at in Bihar. I'm joined at this moment by special guests. I'm joined by Amitabh Thakur. He's been tracking this election as a psephologist, as a pollster. Javed Ansari has covered elections in Bihar over 3 decades. And I've got Sajan Kumar, who's been on the ground, also tracking all the numbers. But let's first take a look at that caste factor. Why does caste matter in Bihar? Well, quite simply, this is an important element. Remember, while we talk of Muslim Yadavs and EBCs and other communities, there is this Dalit community. Seats with SC population of 15% or more are 31 in this phase. Now, NDA won 16 of them, Mahagathbandhan won 15. 16%, remember the number, 16% approximately are Dalits. And they belong to different groups. Who wins the Dalit vote could be crucial to who wins Bihar. The caste factor becomes very important. Yadavs traditionally dominated, of course, by the RJD. As you can see, in the last election, the Mahagathbandhan had an edge there. The Nishad community will be important because that's the fishermen community. Here the NDA had a slight edge. The NDA's big edge used to traditionally come among EBCs. Last time it was 41-41. That's how tight the election was. The Muslim-dominated constituencies, MGB won 5, NDA 3. Remember, this is in the first round. Paswanda, who are backward caste Muslims, the MGB had an edge. And OBCs, which are a significant segment, Mahagathbandhan again had an edge. This is the first round. Amitabh Tiwari, to you. Is this election at the end of the day about caste identities, or are the caste identities slowly melting?
No, it is about caste identities for a large section of the population and especially the male population. I think the female population over the years has shown tendencies to be caste neutral, largely on account of the women-centric schemes and women empowerment schemes which have been launched by Nitish Kumar, and this time also around we have a rupees 10,000 scheme. So what is likely to pan out is that in the last election, the LJP, which has around 5 to 6% vote share and largely controls the Paswan community vote, this time this party is in alliance with the NDA. And if you see the last elections, 21 seats it had pushed JDU to the second or third slot of this 121 because the LJP had scored more votes than victory margin on these 21 seats. So with LJP now and the Paswan community in its fold under NDA, will it now be able to take lead in this phase 1, wherein in 2020 it was lagging? And with the inclusion of the Malla community, again, the MGB would be hoping to dent 2 to 3% vote share. Otherwise, largely most of the caste blocks seem to be veering towards their traditional alliances. The women vote, of course, is very, very difficult to predict. And largely the amount of traction which the JDU or the BJP is likely to get on account of this 10,000 scheme among the Muslim and Yadav vote bank, that could also play a key factor.
Okay, let's then look from there to gender, because gender also, as we've seen in Bihar, is a big factor. The gender vote of Bihar, in a moment, we'll try and get that for you, but traditionally gender has become more and more important in a state like Bihar. Do you agree, Sajan Kumar, who wins the woman vote wins Bihar? Is it about caste, or as Amitabh says, women tend to be more gender neutral?
Yes, Rajdeep, women do tend to be slightly less caste-centric. Caste is one of the factor, but their gendered identity is something that mediates their choice. And if you see the pattern of women, wherever you see you have around 2% or more women voting, and therein you find that 60%, around 60% of the seats in Bihar is won by NDA. So there is a pattern too. among the women, you also find a different political psychology. One, they are the unit who are reached out by a specific customized public policy. So money is directly coming to their account, and that since 2006, and that's continuing. So Nitish Kumar has created a constituency. Two, they also have this sort of tendency wherein both the plank of ration and shasan. Ration means not just ration, but it also means the welfare schemes and a relative sense of security. And in Bihar, you also find a comparable traction for that. And whenever you ask women on the ground, who do you vote to? They will not name party. They will say either it's Nitish Kumar and somewhere it's Tir. So that way you find that women certainly go beyond caste, and they also take into consideration schemes more than the males. And in Bihar, why Nitish Kumar remains the pivot or the central indispensable figure for NDA and Bihar? Because he is the only leader, both in Bihar and within NDA, who is identified with schemes. You think of Nitish, you think about schemes. You think of Tejashwi, you think of Samrat Chaudhary, you think of any other leader, right? The first mental image comes of their caste, right? And then something else. You think of Nitish Kumar, his caste identity takes a secondary position. On the primary imagery is always his scheme-centric image, and therein comes women who have been nurtured, and therefore he is comparable to leaders like Mamata Banerjee, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Eknath Shinde, etc. So women certainly, and that we have been witnessing on the ground also. It's caste plus, and plus is Nitish schemes.
Okay, Nitish's schemes, particularly from women, we can go back to cycles for girls, we can go back to prohibition. They have created, in a sense, an enduring women's constituency, which is why even in bad times, Nitish Kumar has always got around 15% of the vote. And you look at 2010, 15 and 20, even go back to 2005, where Nitish is, the kursi also comes. So he becomes a major X factor.